More over here at HTM Sports. How is everybody doing this evening, man? So, the coaching carousel continues to spin in Dallas, man. We just fired or relieved of duty 5 different coaches, but thank God Dan Quinn is not one of them. Dan Quinn turned down some head coaching jobs, and he will be back with the Dallas Cowboys in 2023. So we're going to get into that today. We're going to talk about what that means for the team going forward. We're going to talk about the Kellen Moore situation, what he should do, about what he shall do at this point. Hey, Joshua Fisher, West Coast, I appreciate y'all for tapping in with me. NFZ, what's up with you, man? Gary Murphy, I appreciate y'all for tapping in with me. I appreciate the love. So, yeah, man, we're going to get right into it, man, since everybody that jumped on the stream. So, yeah, man, so Dan Quinn is going to be returning as the Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator for the 2023 season. He was a guy that had an interview. He flew out to the Arizona Cardinals to take a look at their head coaching position. And, he pretty much said the reason that he turned down that job and, the reason that he let all these other teams know that he was returning to the Dallas Cowboys is because he realized how good he had it here, right? Yeah, Regina Green is the best news of the day. So, yeah, he said he felt that he had a good thing going in Dallas. And when you really look at the teams that need a head coach that he could have gotten the position in, like none of them are really set up for success right now, right? When you look at the Arizona Cardinals that he just went in interviewed for, you got to deal with Kyler Murray. And I'm not saying that Kyler Murray is not a good, young prospect or quarterback. He's a very talented dude. But the issue with Kyler Murray, he doesn't seem to get along with a lot of people. He publicly called out his head coach when he was there, Cliff Kingsbury. He got into it with DeAndre Hopkins. He had issues, with Larry Fitzgerald apparently, because there was comments back and forth between him and Larry Fitzgerald's father. Then there was the situation with Patrick Peterson. Patrick Peterson said that Kyler Murray was all about Kyler Murray. So, there's a bunch of stuff going on around Kyler Murray, and the boy is not even going to be healthy to start the season. He did just suffer, I believe it was an ACL injury, like right in the middle of the season. He's not going to be healthy to start the season. There's a bunch of turmoil, a bunch of roster. They don't even have a GM right now, if I'm not mistaken. So that, when you really think about it, it's not a stable position to go into. Elijah Robinson, what's up with you, man? I appreciate you for tapping in with me. So, yes, it's not a stable situation. And when you look at all these other teams, right? Yes, he could theoretically take the Denver Broncos job, right, if he had wanted to. But, you would have to fix Russell Wilson, who just is coming off the worst season of his career. Then you have to play Patrick Mahomes two times a year. You got to play Justin Herbert 2 times a year. So, it's not an easy division to go into and try to win that division. It'd be hard to even make the playoffs in that division. So, really staying in Dallas, waiting another year for a better opportunity to come along is not a crazy idea. So, this is something that he could probably do, be successful, and give it a go next year. Because Dan Quinn is going to be so sought after that, he will have his choice of where he wants to coach at. Like, you don't need a defense of this caliber for 2 straight years, and then we repeat, do the same thing we did this year 3 straight years, and not get a valid coaching opportunity somewhere that you want to be at. So I think Dan Quinn is playing the long game because we just seen a head coach get fired the first year of his contract. So, and you guys also got to remember, it did not end well for Dan Quinn in Atlanta. Right, so if he wants to take another head coaching job, I feel like he wants to go somewhere where he has stability, he has job security, he has a good roster to work with, and none of these opportunities right now really match that mold. So I'm happy that he's coming back, right? Because he has played a large part in the development of our defense. Dan Quinn took one. Listen, I need people to remember where we were before Dan Quinn got here into Dallas. Like we were a historically bad defense on all levels. We were one of the worst rushing defenses, one of the worst scoring defenses. Like we there was not much we could do. But Dan Quinn came in, he turned it around. We were a top 10 defense last year. We're a top 5 defense this year. So, last year we led the league in turnovers. Deshaun Taylor, yeah, I know. Like Dan Quinn, like he doesn't want to go through purgatory, or he doesn't want to take a job where he's gonna he's gonna be right back out the door. Like you take the Texans job, the dysfunctional franchise, bad roster, and you saw how they did Lovie Smith. Did anyone even notice that Randy Gregory was gone? No, nobody noticed Randy Gregory was gone. Like Randy Gregory is a good, like a good dude, but like we were able to mask. We got a lot more production out of these other guys than we ever got out of Randy Gregory. If you listen to McCarthy interview, I think Moore is getting cut. We're actually going to touch on that. We are going to touch on Kellen Moore in just a little bit. That is one of the next points coming, because he was very non-committal about Kellen Moore rejoining this offense. So if y'all don't know, like Mike McCarthy, they asked Mike McCarthy about his job security first. Mike McCarthy said that Jerry Jones told him he wants Mike McCarthy to coach as long as Tom Landry did. And if you know who Tom Landry is, one of the best coaches in NFL history, Tom Landry coached the Dallas Cowboys for forever. Like forever. He was the coach of the Dallas Cowboys almost 30 years. He took over as head coach in 1960. He coached his last game in the 1988 season. So Tom Landry was the coach for a very long time. I don't think realistically that he's going to coach as long as that here in Dallas. But I think Jerry, in his own words, was just trying to give Mike McCarthy his vote of confidence to say he's the guy going forward. And I think Mike McCarthy deserves his job. Hoodlum, yo, what's good with you, man? I appreciate you for tapping in with me, kinfolk. He said they need to evaluate him. Exactly. So when they asked Mike McCarthy about the status of Kellen Moore, he said he was not going to do this today. He said that Kellen Moore, just like all of the other coaches, are under evaluation. He said he would have to evaluate him, just like NFZ pointed out. So, yes. So, let's jump into that then, right? So, that doesn't sound like a big vote of confidence coming from Mike McCarthy about the future of Kellen Moore. So, Kellen Moore, he has some positive things that he does, right? But we also cannot overlook the situational play calling that has hindered this team. Like when you look at the interceptions that were thrown most of the season, they came on curl routes, they came on option routes, and those are the staples in his offense. We run a bunch of curls. We have a bunch of guys that aren't even suited for it running option routes, and it has caused some issues for Dak Prescott. And like you said, like NOZ pointed out, Kellen Moore has bad situational awareness at times as well. His situational play calling gets him in trouble. So when we're blowing teams out, like a lot of this stuff works. But when we're in a dog fight, we got to play smart, fundamental football in regards to our play calling. Like he often gets worn up, in those situations. And even looking at the plays we call, like I was talking to West Coast earlier about this offense. We run so many curl routes. We run so many hitch routes. But, like these cornerbacks, we don't ever test anybody deep. These cornerbacks are so comfortable jumping these routes. That's why they're able to get their hands on these interceptions, right? You've seen it just in the 49ers game. Like all these interceptions came on curls and they came on an option route. The interception he threw to when he was trying to target CeeDee Lamb, it was an option route in the middle of the field. CeeDee Lamb had the option of either crossing the linebacker's face and sitting in the middle of the field, or he had the option of going back across the other direction of the field. Dak Prescott got threw off you know, he expected CeeDee Lamb to cross the linebacker's face. He got threw off by that. And she should have never threw the ball, but he still got confused that he didn't read it the same way. Tried to force the ball to him and got intercepted. It was a bad decision, but it was also a bad concept and also a bad time to even call a pass play on 2nd and 2 in the red zone area. So when you just compound all of that stuff, then yes, like Kellen Moore has to do much better. He has to do much better. Can't answer that question until we see who will be available. Yeah, I don't know just yet. Hey, landlord, I see you in the comment box. What's good with your kinfolk? If you down, man, we can rock later on tonight, man. I know you probably up there getting that bread right now, but when you ready, we can do a show, man. But yeah, like I don't really know who I want to replace Kellen Moore. Whoever it is, it needs to be somebody that is from a West Coast style offense. Like your head coach is somebody that coached Joe Montana. He coached Brett Favre. He coached Aaron Rodgers. And he has had success running that style of offense. And you pretty much, like I was saying before, you get like a second quarterback coach just by getting an offensive coordinator that's running a system that's in Mike McCarthy's wheelhouse. He can explain it to Dak Prescott. He can walk him through it. He can help him develop in different ways. And yes, and listen, just because you're running West Coast, principles doesn't mean that you can't be a run first team. Because we see it with the Rams, right? The Rams do a lot of power running and play action off of that. And the concepts that they run are a lot of West Coast variations. So yeah, you can still be a run heavy team and implement, West Coast principles in your passing offense. So, I'm not really sure who we could bring in, because when you think of a guy like Byron Leftwich, I'm not sure his style of play calling even suits what Dak Prescott is good at. Because remember, we just seen him have 45-year-old Tom Brady throw the ball 66 times in a playoff game. So I like Byron Leftwich. I always want to see a brother get a job, but I don't know if his style of play is really conducive to what we have in Dak Prescott. I need somebody. I might go after Greg Roman, right? Because I know he knows how to use a mobile quarterback, and that's pretty much the best thing. Some of the best things that Dak Prescott do. He's a very big guy, around 240, 245 pounds, mobile. He's a guy that had 18, rushing touchdowns in the first 3 years of his season. He's currently the Cowboys' all-time leader in rushing touchdowns from the quarterback position. And that's a element of his game that's been stripped away really over the course of these last couple of years. So getting an offensive coordinator in here that can get him back to that, and I know he's older. He'll be 30 years old. He'll turn 30 during the course of this upcoming season. But he still is very athletic. He stays in good shape. He's a gym warrior. There's no reason to strip Dak Prescott, even for injury concerns, because there's no reason to strip Dak Prescott at that part of his game. Because remember, he got hurt this year, standing in the pocket, broke his damn thumb. So like, if Dak Prescott is going to get dinged or nicked, you know what I'm saying? Like he can do that, being the best version of himself. Because if he's gonna get hurt anyway, you might as well let him run. And you don't have to run him like he's Cam Newton. But third and short, let him use his legs. Red zone situation, let him use his legs. The play breakdown, let him use his legs. And even, if a run play isn't called, you should still be teaching Dak Prescott. If your first two reads are not there, bail on the pass play and take off running. Who was OC when they had Eddie Lacy? I don't know. Let me go and look. Packers. So Eddie Lacy. For those who don't know, Eddie Lacy was a running back that played for the Green Bay Packers during Mike McCarthy's tenure. Former Alabama player, former All-Pro. Got there in 2013. All right, so let's see. As I look at Green Bay Packers coaching staff for 2013, and I can have that answer for you. So when I get to clicking on this computer, I'm looking up something. So let me see. Let me find it for you. Let's see. So in 2013, their staff. Let me see. Here we go. Offensive coaches. All right. Tom Clements was their offensive coordinator in 2013. And 2013 is the year that he was their offensive coordinator from 2012 to 2014. Then he became their assistant head coach. So 2013 when Eddie Lacy was a second team All Pro, he was the offensive coordinator. And right now, Mr. Clements is the quarterback's coach in Green Bay. So he still has a job. He's trying to develop them young guys right there. Yeah, Greg Roman would be nice. I think Greg Roman got a good play calling system. Because you got to remember they didn't have really any good receivers outside of Hollywood Brown during his tenure, and he was still able to make that offense potent. He allowed Lamar Jackson to be Lamar Jackson. So I think he would fit. We want to run the ball. Yeah, I don't want any quarterback to throw the ball 40 times. Because a lot of people will be talking about these imaginary gunslinging quarterbacks that throw the ball 40 times and win games, and that's bullshit. Aaron Rodgers, who was supposed to be one of the best passing quarterbacks in NFL history, is 15, 29, and 1 when he passes the ball over 40 times. Right? So if Aaron Rodgers can't even throw the ball 100 times and win the game, I damn sure do not want Dak Prescott to do it. And that's not an indictment on Dak Prescott. It's not a realistic or efficient way to try and win ball games. It's not the right way to try to go about winning ball games. Matter of fact, let's go a step further. If I'm not mistaken, Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes are the only two quarterbacks in NFL history to have at least a 60% win percentage when passing the ball 40 times or over. Drew Brees only has like a 40% win percentage, if I'm not mistaken. I had wrote an article about this a while back. Alfred Crossan. I hope we draft running back Jahmyr Gibbs. Yeah, he should be there in the second round. Like they got it. Like, he's a real dynamic player. He's somebody that puts you in the mind of a guy like Alvin Kamara. He puts you in the mind of a guy like Tony Pollard, even though I think that Gibbs is a little bit bigger. But yeah, he definitely would be a great pickup. No, they're even at this point, man. They're mocking the Bijan Robinson to us, at the 26th pick. So I'm not sure if he'll fall that far because he's a guy that's got top 10 talent, but his position is going to scare away a bunch of guys. His position is going to scare away a bunch of guys. He said we need to be a balanced offense. We need to be an effective offense, and really, when we say balance, we really just need to run the ball efficiently. Because think about it, if we were able to run the ball at the clip the 49ers were able to run the ball on us, like we would still be playing. We would be getting ready for an NFC championship game. But we were unable to get a run game going to help Dak Prescott. And because we were not able to get a run game going while Dak Prescott was struggling, we had to keep the ball in his hand. He made mistakes and had no outside support. Right? So I think we need to reinforce our run game because on paper it looks like we have this awesome run game, but for the last month of the season after the Terrence Steele injury, we weren't getting any real yardage in the run game. Ezekiel Elliott, over the last 4 games had 50 carries for 100 yards, and Tony Pollard was not much better. So you can't even say it was just one guy. I think the injury on the offensive line really just zapped away our potency in the run game because Zeke struggled, Tony Pollard struggled down the stretch. So our run game became non-existent. We asked Dak Prescott to do more in the passing game, and he struggled at points. No, on the flip side, you saw the Tampa Bay game. We were able to get a running game going against them, and you saw how good Dak Prescott was with play action. He destroyed that team. Four touchdowns, for four passing touchdowns, a rushing touchdown, no turnovers. He was damn near perfect. So I believe, if we're run centric, I don't want Dak Prescott to have that many opportunities for to fall into like a pure drop back. Like I want most of Dak Prescott's passes to come off of play action. I want most of Dak Prescott's passes to be to come off play action, to be screens, to be like shots down the field. I don't really need Dak Prescott to be Aaron Rodgers. I don't need him to be Joe Burrow. I don't need him to be Aaron Rodgers, any of the other guys. I just need Dak Prescott to be Dak Prescott, because Dak Prescott is, if he's just himself, he's a top 10 quarterback, right? Because we seen Dak Prescott win over 60 games since he's been here. We never seen Dak Prescott have a losing season, as a starting quarterback. We seen Dak Prescott make multiple Pro Bowl selections, seen him win Rookie of the Year. We seen him, break the single season passing touchdown record for our franchise. All right, and that's a big deal. We had a guy named Tony Romo here. We had a guy named Troy Aikman here. So like the stuff that Dak Prescott has done, like he has proven to be a high quality quarterback. He may not be at a top 5 quarterback, but he damn sure is at bare minimum top 10. He's at the 7 to 10 range, and that's another reason why I'm so upset, at the prospect of possibly keeping Kellen Moore. Because you mean to tell me you got an All Pro receiver, you got a multi-time Pro Bowl quarterback, you got Tony Pollard, who was just a Pro Bowler this year. You got Dalton Schultz, who was a year removed from being a top 10 tight end. You mean to tell me that you got all these different guys on your team and the best shit you can come up with is a curl route? So that's why Kellen Moore got to get out of here. You think Kellen Moore regret not taking that Georgia State job last year? I hope we make him regret it. Because listen, Kellen Moore is the weak link in this team. Because everybody that's here outside of CD Lamb, like our key players were already made men before he got here. Dak Prescott made all his Pro Bowl selections before Kellen Moore was our offensive coordinator. Ezekiel Elliott made his All Pro selections before Kellen Moore was our offensive coordinator. So he said 7-year-old HTM cold blood. No, for real. Like everybody here was made men. Like everybody here was on a path. Like the way they talk about Dak Prescott now is completely different than how they were talking about him before Kellen Moore got here, right? And I don't even be listening to these 3-letter word networks and shit, but they were comparing, like when Dak Prescott was a rookie, they were comparing him to Tom Brady. They were comparing him, they would put him on a pedestal as being one of the next great stars. He had a 2-to-1 win rate. He was 32-16 as a starter. He had a very good record against winning teams, won a playoff game, like all this great stuff before he ever got here. Hold on. Somebody is in the building. Is this OG West Coast and jumped on Hennythemoor? Oh shit. Hold on. Yo, can you hear me, kinfolk? Hold on. Yo, West Coast, can you hear me? Hmm. We trying to get West Coast on here. I don't know. We having some technical difficulties, right? Oh, hold on. Yeah, this thing tripping. Hold on. Hold that thought. I'm see if I get kinfolk on here. Cause this thing keep disappearing. What are we clicking? All right. Can you hear me? Hey, can you hear me, Kim folk? I don't know. We might be having some technical difficulties right now. Mm. We might be having a little bit of technical difficulties right now. We're gonna try and get this lined up. We're gonna keep talking though till it get resolved. But yeah, your stream acting up today. Oh, he said StreamYard acting up today. Yeah, see, I be using Restream when I be going live on mine. I be using that. Yeah, that's what I fool with. My stream messing up too right now. Y'all still see me? All right. I don't know. It's tripping right now, but I will continue to try and get West Coast in the building to chop it up with us. But yeah, so Kellen Moore definitely has no more leeway with us, man. Like we gonna have to get him out of here because he's wasting the talent on the team. Like we've seen these guys be productive without him. Like your only job as an offensive coordinator is to elevate the talent on the team, right? So you got everything that you need to be successful, and you're supposed to try and cater your system. Right, you get this. You're supposed to be trying to cater your system to do what your stars do well. There's no reason that Dak Prescott should be throwing the ball 40 times, right? Since Kellen Moore's been here, Dak Prescott has averaged 37 passing attempts a game, right? Ezekiel Elliott, like his touches have gone down every year since Kellen Moore has been the offensive coordinator, right? Because when he got here in 2019, Ezekiel Elliott was still like a 1,200-yard back. That's not the case right now. He's not getting the touches that he's accustomed to, and Ezekiel Elliott is a guy that needs volume touches. Tony Pollard, he waited till Tony Pollard was in a contract year to let this man touch the ball, even though Tony Pollard has been the most explosive player on your team for several seasons. There was a man who played more snaps at wide receiver than he did running back in college. This is a man who set the NCAA record in kick return touchdowns in college. And then he can't even get Cavante Turpin the ball. This man run a 4.2. And the first time that Cavante Turpin touched the ball on a pass was the very last play of the game to end the season. So like there's a bunch of things that he's done that's just unforgivable. Like it's malpractice to make some of these decisions, and you got playmakers. Kellen Moore does not know how to use Zeke. He just uses Zeke mostly for picking up the pass rush. Right. Like there are run plays that Ezekiel Elliott can still be very effective on. They just don't get called a lot. Right. And listen, Zeke is a great pass blocker. But that is not the only thing that Ezekiel Elliott can still do. He can still contribute to the offense. Right? We seen him. He damn near had 1,000 yards this season. So I don't know. Kellen Moore has to do better. But whoever we hire, we just need to hire somebody that has a similar background to Mike McCarthy. We need somebody that wants to run some West Coast principles in their passing offense. And that will also cut down on some of these interceptions just by Dak Prescott not having the. But listen, in the offense that we currently are in, right? Oh yeah, Ezekiel can be a center apparently too. That was the dumbest shit I ever seen. But nah, like just think about it. Like right now, like we have a plethora of players running option routes all at the same time, on our offense. So even if Dak Prescott is right, the wide receiver may not be right because they got to both see the play the same way, and Dak Prescott have to throw to a spot before they even come out of their break. So Dak Prescott could make the right decision and still throw interception because the player he's throwing the ball to could make the wrong choice. And we've seen that happen before. Like, we've seen there was a miscommunication in the deep middle of the field between Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. Dak Prescott threw the ball in an area because he expected CeeDee Lamb to cross the face of the safety. CeeDee Lamb did not do so, and because of that decision, Dak Prescott hit the safety in the belly with the ball. Now, the stat is going to say that Dak Prescott threw an interception. But conceptual wise, Dak Prescott was right in the read, and CeeDee Lamb made the wrong choice. So that's why an option route is also called a choice route. The wide receiver is constantly put in position to make a choice, and sometimes they make the wrong choice. So I need us to get away from those concepts. Especially, I don't want as many people running option routes either, right? Because I don't need CeeDee Lamb to be running an option route and also have Noah Brown running an option route and also have Michael Gallup running an option route. Like, we need to add some more stuff. Hold on, when Biotis went down, I was looking for Joe Looney number. Man, Joe Looney was solid for quite some time, man. Like, I don't know, like, he went and retired, so I don't know he would have been in game shape, but man, Joe Looney was a very solid linebacker. I mean, I said linebacker. He was a very solid lineman for us. Yeah, he was a very solid lineman for us, and he played every damn position we asked him to. He played every damn position he asked us to. He played guard for us. He got some snaps at center. Like, you gotta respect Joe Looney, man. Like, he was a constant professional. And look, I wish he come back. He only 32 years old. So, but yeah, he definitely somebody I liked having on our team. I was mad nervous knowing we didn't have a backup center. Yeah, we have to get that's another thing. We have to get our offensive line healthy, and then we have to figure out who the hell our starting five is going to be. We played musical chairs with our offensive line so much this season. It was pathetic. So, that's another reason why, with the way our line played, I understand why Joe Philbin did not get retained. Like, think about last year. We had an offensive lineman led the league in penalties. Then we were 23rd ranked in pass protection. This year we still had a bunch of penalties, and we were even worse in pass protection. We were ranked number 28 in protecting the quarterback this year. So, like, I understand why Joe Philbin lost his job. I understand why some of the other people lost their jobs, but I wouldn't have got rid of the running back coach. I definitely wouldn't have did that. We need a monster like Vita Vea. That is definitely a draft need for me, because unless they're bringing back Hankins on a cheap deal, we're going to definitely need a big body defensive tackle to sew up that run game. Because listen, if teams cannot run against the Dallas Cowboys, teams cannot defeat the Dallas Cowboys. We already have one of the better pass rushers in football. We have a great secondary when you really think about the personnel we have. We have Trayvon Diggs, DeRon Bland, J-Ron Curse, Donovan Wilson, Malik Hooker. So we got a damn good secondary. I know we struggled at times, at the cornerback 2 position when Anthony Brown was injured. But, we still have a great passing defense. Like, teams usually beat us by running the ball, setting up their play action, getting our guys in one-on-one situations. But when we're able to play our base defense and get after the passer, like, teams don't beat us like that. There ain't a quarterback that dropped back and threw the ball 40 plus times against us and beat us. That's not the formula to stop the Dallas Cowboys. So, like, they just be running, like, they be running right down our throats. So, like, if we can sew up this run defense, like, there will be no way for teams to move the ball against us. So we definitely need to invest in a defensive tackle, maybe a couple of them. NFC, don't expect it. We will scrape the bottom of the barrel free agent as usual. Yeah, but we just gonna have to see if we can draft some people. I don't expect us to have a big free agency this year anyway. When you think about the guys that we're probably gonna have to extend, because Trayvon Diggs is on the final year of his contract, right? He got drafted in 2020, was an All Pro in 2021, was a Pro Bowl selection in 2022. So the past 3 years, he's played exceptional football. I don't see Trayvon Diggs. Like Trayvon Diggs is the main person I think will hold out for a contract this year. It would just being honest, right? Because he would be risking the biggest like generational wealth. He'd be risking the big bag going out there to play on a 1-year deal that's only worth $1 million. So remember, he wasn't even a first round pick. We got Trayvon Diggs in the second round. So if anybody holds out this year, it would be Trayvon Diggs, and you would have to respect it. He outplayed that contract. It's time to pay up, and giving Trayvon Diggs an extension is not going to hurt the cap this year anyway. He'll still, be playing that this final year on that rookie deal. He'll just have some money behind it, right? He'll have some security, and once he signs the contract, he'll get some money in his pocket from the signing bonus. So, like, extending Trayvon Diggs is actually the smart thing to do. You get to sew him up. You don't have to worry about trying to franchise tag him at the end of the year. None of that other crazy shit. So, usually when the Dallas Cowboys end up in situations like that, we end up bidding against ourselves. So we never win. So I would go ahead and extend Trayvon Diggs because, like, there is no reason to let him play out that last year of his contract, because I don't think he wants to do that anyway. I think push comes to shove, like he would sit out. And you got to think about it, like his brother got bread. Like this is not a guy that's gonna starve if he doesn't play football right now. I don't think Stephon would want his brother to even risk it on a 1-year deal. Like Stephon Diggs, one of the highest paid wide receivers in football. So no, I don't think he wants his baby brother playing on a 1-year deal. We have been drafting very well. I trust our draft process. Not disappointed very often. I remember thinking LVE was going to be a bust, but him and Smith balled out. Our CB2 isn't certain. Don't play around with my CB1. Yeah, for real, because you don't know. And what the Cowboys will probably do is they will probably try and kick the run Bland out to the CB2 position. And knowing them, like Israel McQuamu, who you saw play pretty well in the slot, they might give him an opportunity in the slot and kick the run Bland, out to CB2. Because we seen it. We seen them do it in stretches this year. They done it in stretches this year. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. But I do trust our draft process, right? We have drafted some damn good players. We really hit on most, not all, but most of our high draft picks we hit on. We hit on CD Lamb. We hit on Trayvon Diggs. We hit on Michael Parsons. We really just didn't hit on Kelvin Joseph, right? Because we could have had Asante Samuel Jr. over that boy, but we picked him because of his size and his measurables and stuff like that. But that's neither here nor there. For the most part, man, we've been hitting on these picks. We even hit on Sam Williams. So like, and it's still too early to say we hit on Jalen Tolbert or not. He could have a good season this year coming up. You never know. I hate that he had a wasted rookie season, but we'll see how that goes. We'll see what we can do to remedy the situation with him. Maybe. And that's another thing, like, it might be an issue. It might be an issue, with his development playing in Kellen Moore's system. Because he has to do a lot more than just run a route. He has to catch on to this system that we're running. He has to be very cerebral as a player. He's just not going to be out there just running a route. He has to go out there, know what the defense is, right? And then run the correct route and be where he needs to be and see it the same way that the quarterback sees it. So I think that played a part in him not being able to get on the field as quickly as possible. No, that's also a reason why I think Dak Prescott really liked Dennis Houston to start the season. Because when he spoke about Dennis Houston, it wasn't that he said that Dennis Houston could run this fast or jump this high or run this amazing route. Nah, he said he liked Dennis Houston because he knew Dennis Houston would be where he was supposed to be at. So I think that is one of the reasons why he was not able to get on the field really. So we'll see how he develops as a player. But we have to figure that out. Because listen, you can't just spend a top 100 pick on a player and for them not to pan out. Like he was picked around the same area as Michael Gallup was, and even Michael Gallup gave you 500 yards as a rookie. Even Michael Gallup gave you 500 yards as a rookie. So yeah, it is what it is. I hope it works out for him though. Like he is a good prospect. Like he is a good prospect, but we just have to see what we do going forward. And we talking personnel and stuff like that. We have to figure out if Kellen Moore is in or out before we do anything. Because if we get a new offensive coordinator and a new scheme, he's going to have certain personnel that he might want over what's currently here. Right? A guy like this one, we need to get that situated before the draft. Get that situated well before the draft. But yeah, I did not have that much time to talk. I just wanted to come and share my initial thoughts with y'all, on some of the coaches changes. I will be live later on tonight. Hold up. Do you think they will sign D-Hop? No, I do not think they will sign D-Hop. And the reason I don't think they're going to sign DeAndre Hopkins is because you have to give up assets to get DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins is still under contract. DeAndre Hopkins is a wide receiver who is going to be owed a nice little sum of money. Let me see. So in the 2023 season, Hopkins is going to be owed. He's going to have a cap hit of $30.7 million. Right? Unless they cut him, which I don't think they'll do because he'll have a dead cap hit for them for 22. Now, I can see him getting traded, but, I don't think the Dallas Cowboys are going to give up any more assets for any wide receiver. I don't think they'll trade for Michael Thomas, who has a long, lengthy injury history at this point because he's barely played football. I don't think they'll trade for DeAndre Hopkins because of his contract. So I don't think they'll trade for anybody. Like, as crazy as it sounds, like the Dallas Cowboys have a better chance of bringing in Brandon Cooks than they do these other guys. Right? Not just, like when you think about the money, I think he has a slightly smaller cap hit next year. I think that you won't have to give up as much to get him. And I think that he's a guy that's actually been playing football. Like DeAndre Hopkins, he missed a lot of time because of whatever he put in his body. Michael Thomas has not been able to stay healthy. So, and if I add a wide receiver, I need somebody that has speed. Like everybody on our team is slow. Like CeeDee Lamb is explosive, but he's not running past anybody. Like he's fast out of his break, but he's not a fast wide receiver. He ran a 4.5. Michael Gallup ran a 4.5. Right? T.Y. Hilton is probably your fastest true wide receiver. I say true wide receiver because Turpin is a kick return specialist, and he is 33 years old. Right? They don't even let Turpin play offense half the time. So, I need speed on my offense. We got a bunch of 4 or 5 guys. And that's also one of the reasons why these folks can just sit on our routes like that. There's no threat of a wide receiver running past you if you're flat-footed. Right? So he said, would I keep T.Y. for the right price? If T.Y. Hill don't want to play for the veteran minimum again, I'll keep him. Because like I said, I need my team I need some more speed on my team. We got a bunch of 4 or 5 players. I need somebody that's a vertical threat in my offense. But yeah, so I appreciate all y'all for tapping in with me. But I'm finna go spend some family time. I will be back live a little bit later on tonight. But I appreciate y'all. It's your boy Hennythemoor, HTM Sports. Please like, share, subscribe. You know, we're trying to boost the page up to 1,000 subscribers to get this mug monetized. So again, I appreciate the love, and I will get at y'all later. Peace.